Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Asking $2,000 a night.
Anna, if you would call roll, please.
Sure, whatever.
Bilski,
Yes.
Luter. Perry. Here. Braverman. Here. Charnis.
Here.
Klein.
Here.
Duber.
Open the public hearing to consider a request for variance of a 3-foot variance of 3 feet to permit a deck to be constructed not nearer than 22 feet from the eastern rear lot line of her property pursuant to the request of Janice Dixon for her property located at 318 Lake Victoria, Ohio. Does anybody have any comments regarding it? Hi. You're more than welcome to come up and speak if you want. I don't know if anybody has questions. Here, please.
Hi, I'm Janice. I recently moved here a few months ago. It was a surprise to me when they went to build a deck that has a door that's about 7 feet up. Oh, about 7. That's okay.
This reads.
Some people, I think this is a repeat because they were at the building meeting. So I'm sorry.
That's okay.
We're here.
Okay, great. Thank you for your time. I moved here a few months ago through Lakes of Orange, which is a Pulte development. And to my surprise, when I contracted Classic Decks to build a deck which fills a very defined and set planned out spot, I learned that I was 3 feet, which is the slight corner over a variance, which I wasn't made aware of. So I wanted to make sure that, I followed the proper procedures. At the building meeting, we talked about it. There's no stairs on this deck, and it doesn't jut out past that corner for the 3 feet. So I just wanted to, if you hadn't had any questions, I know Classic Deck also included some pictures and a topographical map and things of that nature.
Sounds pretty shady to me.
So, John, what do you think?
Be careful of that humor, Brandon.
See it in my packet. Did you guys get the reports from planning and zoning, the votes on these?
Yeah.
Table
here. They were in here.
I have one, okay.
Answer your question, Herb. It was discussed at council. There have been a number of the sites at the lakes where there have been some necessity for variances. This one is of particularly unusual because of the shape of the site and the ability to square off the back deck is such that if done so, it projects into the setback and it's a triangular shape. The good news is there's nothing behind it. This is land that will always be open, so there's no rear neighbor to be compromised by the deck being there, and that was part of the discussion at Planning Commission, and they were in support of it.
That's what I read. I just wanted to see that was correct.
And so any other comments on that? No? Thank you.
You're good?
We could just do this now, right? There's no reason not to.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. So why don't we do this, just so you don't have to stay here all night. I will make a motion to adopt the final order and conclusions of fact for a rear yard variance for 318 Lake Victoria Court. Is there a second? Second. Thank you. Any other comments? And if you want to call roll, please.
Bilski,
Yes.
Luter,
Yes.
Yes.
Braverman,
Charnis.
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Duber.
Yes. All right. You're more than welcome to stay. I'm just kidding, you don't have to.
The way to have kept her to stay was to keep it till the end of the...
You're staying all night.
So So, opening a public hearing to consider a variance of 5 feet from the Orange Village zoning code to permit a pool to be erected not near than 20 feet from the southern side lot line of his property pursuant to the request of Anthony and Sandra Lazar for their property located at 4839 Brainerd Road, Orange Village, Ohio. Does anybody want to speak regarding that?
I just want to say, and I forgot to say this on the first one, and what I'm going to say applies to both. The notices were given to the neighbors within the range that's required, and there was no feedback or objection.
There's no comments, closed public hearing. Oh,
I asked you earlier before the meeting, but to make it official, you did say you were going to provide towels at the pool. All right.
Okay, now we'll close the public hearing, and I'll make a motion to adopt the final order and conclusions of fact for the side yard variance for a swimming pool at 4839 Brainerd Road. Is there a second?
Okay.
Comments? Call roll, please.
One other question. It says here that that Mr. Lazar abstained.
Yes.
Did he leave the room? Did he recuse?
He advocated.
He was the applicant.
It was the advocate, so he had to
From voting, but
He
stayed.
switched his hat.
to present it.
He wore his
present
applicant.
it.
Situation, I understand. Okay.
I've seen this before.
Roll, please.
Bilski,
Yes.
Cooter,
Yes.
Harry, Braverman,
Yes.
Charnes,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Duber.
Yes. Can I have a motion to approve the special council meeting minutes of November 6, 2019?
Second.
Thank you, thank you. Are there, nobody? Okay. If you would call roll, please.
Bilski,
Yes.
Yes.
Harry. Yes. Braverman,
Yes.
Charnes,
Yes.
Duber.
Were these on the minutes?
Yes. Yeah.
So,
These were the amended?
okay, I don't know if this needs to be said, but earlier Stacy mentioned to me that her name was spelled wrong and that there was another.
And I gave everybody an amended copy, as well as you.
Oh,
That's why I was going crazy.
I didn't catch up fast. Okay.
Never mind.
Anything else?
I had spelled Stacy wrong on one other thing, and I
You're
fixed
You're fired. Moving on to
Is that what the amendments were, the name changes?
no, there was, I think there was.
The word "for" was missing from Stacy's, and then I changed the wording about how,
I'm not going to behave like that. I'm going to be a lady.
Of course you are.
they signing the checks, it was just a formality type thing.
English woman.
Of course.
Moving on to discussion of bills to be paid in the month of October. Yes, we did. In the month of October, in the amount of $258,948.95, and additional September expenses in the amount of $106,100.22. Does anybody have any comments on the bills? Okay.
I had one.
Get a question?
Yeah, on the animal control.
Animal control.
Yeah, reimbursable. I'm not sure what that means. That one, but.
Speaking?
No, I think we were waiting on you.
I'm looking for my bills to be paid from the previous month. Ask away.
Well, I just want to make sure that I wasn't too... I got 2 pages. The second page, one that says paid October.
Yeah.
Okay.
Paid October?
Well, it says paid October at the top. That's the one we're looking at now.
That's what we're doing now, correct?
The summary on the back, on the second page says September.
Mistake.
The additional August should be additional September.
That's
I
right.
think it's important to make those changes for accounting, if not any other purposes, but especially for those purposes.
Fortunately, the ledger from the computer would print it out exactly right, but we will correct this. Dana, did you catch that?
I don't see that.
I'll give it to you tomorrow.
I just
Oh, you did hear it.
take it personally. The other question I had, I read this Bob Summerall Tire Company, front tire. Tire is singular. $1,000? Well,
Well, probably more than one. Bob Zugan?
No, that's for Rescue 6, that's a heavy-duty steer tire for,
6 tires?
no, that's one tire. I'm sorry, it just said it 2.
Tire for $1,000?
It's the 2 front, one set for the front.
$1,000.
Yep.
How long do those last?
Not long
That
enough.
was, I believe that was the first replacement of Rescue 6.
I spent
Big fire truck.
$350 for
Four
a tire
tires
for my Audi.
I'm not paying for yours.
Well, your share of these are.
I noticed there seemed to be a lot of refunds. Those are all trusted.
Those are all 701s.
Is that what they are? Okay.
And those are all the deposits being given back.
I just wanted to make sure.
On it. They are on it.
Wanted to make sure that that's what all those references were, because there were a lot of them this month, or these two months.
Well, there's some things about to open. So yes, there's been some activity recently. Good observation.
Okay, and the only other thing I want to ask about is, I was looking at the Chagrin Valley Dispatch.
Yep.
That seems to be getting more expensive, would you say?
Okay, well, look, break it down. You're looking at the October one? Okay.
Was, yeah.
Okay, so the operating expense is the one you need to look at primarily, okay? The difference is that, like, the workstation replacement for 14 and the building department project Wi-Fi camera 21, we're not, I mean, Nick is doing all our IT, and I guess it's running through, he buys it through the Chagrin Valley, and we hire them to do
Represent
it.
our shares, don't they?
No. The only thing that represents our shares is the 12,005. The rest is for Orange Village. Come to Orange Village and
Oh, it's
replace our
our stuff
workstations. It's just us.
Okay, I wasn't sure. It seemed like a
Special
lot of money.
attention on us. Well, we did a lot of work.
Yeah, no, I mean, if that was our share, I thought it was quite a bit.
No, that is all us.
Okay, I just want to get some clarification for that, and, we have some new people who have to start learning about these things.
I have a question.
Go ahead,
Other questions that she asked me,
Well,
did I change?
November, let her, if she has some questions on October, I'm done with that.
You're done? Okay.
Just one question. This is on the October bills to be paid. Animal control reimbursable, it says, and there's a sum, but on the November bills, it says animal control, and it's just one line item. What's that?
Okay, on the November bill, the animal control is $200. That is our bare bones bottom retainer fee, so we can call them up and pick up the dead deer and everything. Obviously,
Doesn't say dead deer. You remember the deer, me and the deer? Yes, all those years ago. No dead deer, yeah.
Remember? Okay. And then this month in October, it was $1,910, of which $1,610 is reimbursable. So it was $300 to the village. We probably had a dead raccoon or something. I don't mean to be flippant, I could really look in the bill and find out.
No,
The
I just-
$1,610 was, we had an instance in the village where the man was taken to the hospital, subsequently died, leaving cats in the house. We, animal control came, took him out. The dead man couldn't pay his bills, so we're paying the bills and paying the bills.
Oh, okay.
State was able.
Okay, I didn't quite understand it. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions on the October bills?
I just had one quick question on the,
Been reimbursed.
We've already been reimbursed for
Been
that.
reimbursed.
You will be reimbursed.
Have been.
You have been, okay, thank you.
the life force management, which is the EMS collections,
Doesn't matter which month.
is that percentage? No, I just want to talk about,
It's 7%, right?
is that what it is? They get 7% for whatever they collect?
Correct.
Okay,
So divide that by 7, and that's what we got.
I got.
Any other comments on the October bills? All right, moving on to discussion of the bills to be paid in the month of November in the amount of $705,191.28, and additional October expenses in the amount of $93,652.07.
Again, I'd like to point out, if you go to this third page, summary of November expenses, that large amount,
2,200.
Yeah.
That's why I questioned.
417,000 was payments for the trails primarily, and 140 was some payments on projects. So look at the top line, the operations was at the 87, so that's perfectly in line with month to month.
Any other comments? Okay. Moving on to audience comments relating to agenda items only. Anyone? Old business, ordinance 2019-22 is amended, an ordinance amending certain sections of the codified ordinances of Orange Village to create the position of, create the position and establish duties and limitations of an assistant treasurer, establishing the compensation range for that position, confirming the mayor's appointment of Catherine Cups to that position. It's on for third reading. I'll make a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments on this?
You'll note that there have been changes made in response to the inquiry. We picked up the change to 125 and have changed the person who can sign checks to the assistant treasurer. And then there was a prohibition in the tax board of review that prohibited the finance administrator from serving on the board as the mayor's. We have changed that citation, and so the assistant treasurer is now not permitted, because we don't have a finance administrator any longer. So that change has been made also.
Thank Brandon again for finding that one little detail.
It's an honor and a pleasure.
Well,
Any other comments? Call roll, please.
Bilski?
Yes.
Cluter?
yes.
Harry? Yes. Braverman? Charnes?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Huber?
Yep. Moving on to ordinance 2019-24, an ordinance enacting new sections of Chapter 1142 and Chapter 1335 of the Orange Village Codified Ordinances to provide for the expiration of rights by the Planning and Zoning Commission, our Board of Review. This is on for third reading. It was approved by Planning and Zoning Commission at the October 15th, 2019 meeting. I'll make a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Thank you. Please.
Bilski? Cluter? Harry? Braverman?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Huber?
Ordinance 2019-25, an ordinance authorizing granting consent to the Ohio Department of Transportation to undertake the widening of Chagrin Boulevard, north side pavement between Orange Place and Brainerd Road in the Village of Orange and Woodmere, and involving the City of Beechwood, declaring an emergency. This is on for third reading. I'll make a motion. Is there a second?
I'll make a second.
Thank you.
And Brian Maters reviewed it, and it's not going to cost us anything.
Any other comments? Oh, please.
Bilski?
Yes.
Yes.
Harry?
Yes. Braverman? Charnes?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Huber?
19-26, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a memorandum of understanding to obtain an option to purchase 80.3 acres of real property fronting on Harvard Road and running between Orange Place South and Brainerd Road from Sharon Briones, Elliot Weintraub, and Dee Weintraub, and declaring an emergency. This is on for third reading. I will make a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Gotta be quicker, Lisa. Comments on this?
Bilski?
Yes.
Cluter?
Yes.
Harry? Yes.
Braverman? Charnes?
Yes.
Klein? Huber?
Yes.
Fantastic, and now, we've been inviting everyone to stay. You can go. Clock off.
It's been a pleasure. Thanks for your help today, Paul.
Thanks for playing.
Do you have anything?
Thank you for explaining the memorandum of understanding. I appreciated it. Thank you.
Two copies of the,
You're on the clock.
You deserve all of them, Paul.
All right, moving on.
Redlined, and then maybe you just got one without.
Is there something, Mayor, that we?
Herb was just asking me if Paul was involved with the FOP ordinance, and I said no.
Okay, sorry. Ordinance 2019-27, an ordinance amending and repealing certain sections of Chapter 937, the Codified Ordinances of Orange Village, to eliminate the requirement that alarm systems receive a permit from the village and pay a fee for such permit. This is on for second reading.
I guess for the chief, maybe. I mean, I assume that this was in place so you knew, or we all knew, who had an alarm system, and I guess who their alarm company was,
Who to call if the alarm went off.
and who to call, yeah. Now, if this passes, if they don't have an alarm company, how do we know who to call?
But they wouldn't have registered.
But we still want to have somebody to call, don't we?
They didn't register unless they had an alarm. So those people that don't have an alarm,
No, they have an alarm, but they don't have a company, they don't have a monitor, and we don't now know who to call in case of
this
emergency.
is the same as not having an alarm.
Well, I wasn't testing your memory, Chief. I'm trying to figure out what happens when that comes up. What are you going to do is what I'm asking. Don't call me. I'm
He's
not
telling you is that
It's only a little while longer. Hey.
Right.
No, I understand that, but I'm just asking.
you're imagining something that doesn't exist
But it also exists
necessarily.
if somebody doesn't have one at all.
There are
People
people
who don't have an
Then
alarm,
they don't-
we're not
they're
going to get a
registered
call.
anyways, I
Right.
know.
who have alarms that don't have monitoring.
Well, they're just like,
Really?
then it's just
It's
like.
the same thing as not having an alarm. How are they supposed to know that there's an alarm drop? There's an alarm and there's nothing connecting it.
Get to a,
This was to address, if there is a situation where somebody has an alarm drop and there's no alarm company, they're going to have an issue regarding unnecessary noise. And we'll have a conversation with them about, whether or not they're going to have that, and we'll then know, after one instance, the one outlier, we would know who to contact.
Well, I have a question for the chief.
I don't know who the
You
outlier
could go back and research this for all the years, but how many times has somebody registered their alarm information without a monitoring company?
I don't know that either.
Isn't, no. No.
I mean, is it even,
I understand the question, Mr. Griffin is saying, if somebody has some type of alarm on their home, but it's not registered with anybody, it goes off and the neighbor says the neighbor's alarm.
You don't know who to call.
Correct. And Mr. Byron's exactly right, because that first time around may be difficult because we don't have the information for that one person that has that alarm. But as soon as we get to that person the first time, our CAD log, the log that we have, will bring this address up and we will get cell phone information or whatever it is that they'd like to give to us to be contacted the next time the alarm will go off.
Okay, I hear you. I mean, I
Which
think
might not be updated.
it's a little weak, but okay. I mean, I'm just raising the point for thought.
let me,
I know,
what do you want? What do you want to happen? If you think this is weak, what do you want, what's your solution?
I would be most comfortable if you have an alarm in the village, you still have to give this information to the village. The appropriate information about who to call, who your emergency contacts are, and all that kind of jazz.
How's that any different than any other kind of emergency at any kind of house? I mean, it's an alarm it's just a big noise going off at that point. So I think it's,
One house.
I think it's,
Talking about the number, I know it doesn't happen every week. I'm not suggesting, I'm just talking about the logic of it.
Okay, well, maybe his.
No, it's in the past, if we had,
the logic is don't have an alarm if you're not going to have a monitoring company. It's like the tree falling in the woods. I mean,
I don't know about that. I'm not sure that everybody who has an alarm has a monitoring company.
Most of us
Certainly the majority do here in Orange Village, but
It's just a big buzzer on your house.
it's a smoke detector then.
You know what, we can put in the newsletter, if you have an alarm without a monitoring company, please come in and give the police your contact information. That solves it.
that's a situation where I thought, I don't know.
Are there any other comments? I'll make a motion to suspend the rules, pass ordinance 2019-27 tonight. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. And if you'll call roll on suspension, please.
Bilski?
Yes.
Fluter?
yes.
Yes. Braverman?
Sure.
Charnis?
Yes.
Klein?
You're crazy.
Huber?
Yes, I'll make a motion to pass ordinance 2019-27. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Any other comments? If you'll call roll, please.
Bilski?
Yes.
Fluter?
Yes.
Perry? Yes. Braverman? Charnis?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Moving to ordinance 2019-28, an ordinance accepting the donation of certain real property known as vacant land, Lander Road, permanent parcel number 901-24-001, and authorizing the mayor to take such actions as are necessary for the village to obtain ownership of said property and declaring an emergency. This is up for second reading.
You're asking to suspend so that we can.
Motion to suspend. Motion to suspend the rules.
Wait, hold on, there's,
Motion to suspend the rules. That's it,
can't have discussion on this?
before the motion to suspend.
Motion to suspend, go.
Second.
All right, Mayor, will you explain why?
I can't until you vote, right?
Take a vote. There's
No.
no debate.
Uh,
Motion to suspend.
Rules work, what can you say?
Okay, go ahead. on suspension.
Bilski?
trying to do that, but.
Bilski? This is on suspension.
The suspension.
Cluter?
Yes.
Perry? Braverman? Charnes? Klein?
Sure.
Duber?
Did you vote no?
Yeah, because I don't know what we're doing. So,
Oh, with the property.
I don't know what we're
The
doing.
reason we're asking to suspend is so that we can close this out and transfer the title immediately and not run up any more legal bills and just get this done.
The discussion that we had last time is what are approximate legal bills on this?
1,000 more than we said last week.
It's gonna be
Which is
about-
what?
About 4,000.
Okay, and did we have a discussion with them of splitting the legal bills with us, or? I'm just trying to,
Fees. I know, you know what, I guess it's not the way you would do it, but those legal fees have been spent already, and I'm responsible for that, and if you, criticize it, that's okay, but it's, they're spent. $2,500. Already done.
I get it.
So we're real close to closing it.
Probably going to be about 4,000.
Yes, I like that.
Why are we getting this piece of land? It's not developable?
It provides the village with access to a drainage.
Which we've already established is not necessary or something that we're going to need.
Now, we've already spent all the money except 1,000.
I'm sorry, Bob Zugan.
But I think she needs to be addressed.
Can you explain again
Explain it again. It went in and
why the
stuck.
access to the drainage way is valuable to you?
This is because it takes the drainage off of Lander Road to a culvert, heads eastbound and swings over the highway. So if there's any blockage or anything, they prevent sheet flow from going, in neighboring properties.
Ever had a blockage there?
Not to my knowledge.
Blockage there?
But it could happen.
No.
Okay, thank you.
It might happen.
As I said last week, $4,000, I'll take the 2 acres. If you guys don't want it, that's all I can tell you.
I don't think it was being donated to you.
I think from my perspective, anytime that the community can acquire property to keep it as green space at a very minimal cost, as is indicated here, we should seize the opportunity, because there's never a shortage for someone to come along down the road and figure out how they might aggregate it with something else and develop it in another way. So this would prevent that from being happen.
The side is that we may need those 2 acres to do something one of these days that we can't know right now.
I don't think it's a bad thing for $4,000. I was just trying to get an understanding as to why we're spending the money before we do it.
Well, that was my
Yeah.
judgment call that you
That's-
don't
that-
agree with.
No, it's not, I don't disagree, I just was trying to understand what we're doing.
But Kathy, historically, we haven't had so many donations of lands.
Remember when we've had before?
Not like this.
These are,
Not like this.
Precedent, so.
I like the idea, it just doesn't sound like a donation when we're paying for it. But neither here nor there. I still like.
We know the value of the land is greater than the $4,000.
I'll buy it.
I'll make a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any other discussion? You guys talking about this, or?
I think Steve's remembering a case where we had donated and we had,
We must have paid for our half of some of the Curtis donations, didn't we?
was just talking about.
Something, if we have some administration we have to go through, or legal action, we pay for it, that's all.
All right, beating dead horse. Any other discussion? All right, call roll, please.
Bilski?
Yes.
Yes.
Perry? Yes. Braverman?
Absolutely.
Charnes? Klein?
Yes.
Moving on to ordinance 2019-29, an ordinance appointing the law director and authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with Singer Code LTA and Stephen L. Byron. What's the middle name? Louis Byron. To provide legal services from January 1st, 2020 through December 31st, 2020, declaring an emergency. This is on for first reading. Steve, anything you want to say about this, or?
It's in line with the ways that police are getting the 3%.
You don't want a cough drop?
Anybody have any other discussion on this tonight? Okay. I know, I was asking if anybody, so annoying. Moving on to ordinance 2019-30, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a collective bargaining agreement with the Fraternal Order of Police and declaring an emergency. This is on for first reading.
The administration is asking for a suspension on this. If not, we have to enter into some negotiations about extending the contract. Chris could probably explain better.
What about next month?
Make a motion to suspend.
No, we'll have to
Thank
do-
you. I will second that. Anna, if you'd call roll on suspension, please.
Bilski,
Yes.
Luder,
Yes.
Harry. Yes. Braverman,
No.
Charnes.
Yes.
Wait for Mr. Klein.
Mr. Klein, this is a motion to suspend the rules on ordinance 2019-30. Okay.
Uber.
Yes. I'll make a motion to pass ordinance 2019-30. Is there a second?
Second?
Thank you. Louder. Sorry, Scott.
Oh, sorry.
And any other comments on this? Okay.
No, because at our last meeting, the idea was to get copies of these documents to us, which I got them today. Why today?
They went out Monday.
My door.
Went out Monday.
Mine was in the package on Monday.
Yeah.
Monday.
Monday. God bless all of you. I did not get them, and second of all, I got 3 copies. I think you've explained what they are.
Look at the one with the red lines, because that's the one that shows you what's changing.
I know, I got that one, and there's 2 red line copies. They're identical? Oh, are there 2 red line copies, anybody?
No, I would have thought the one was a final one with all black, so I don't know why you have 2 red.
Herb.
Yes.
These for you, just in case you lose one.
It was an accident. No, I just had a lot.
It's feasible, someone could put an extra one in. I don't know. But there's nothing different than what we discussed.
Well, I'm sure all of my colleagues read them in detail, so I'm...
I did.
That was my bedtime reading last night.
On Monday.
You voted. You voted. You voted.
We haven't voted yet.
Yes, you have, haven't you?
Put it on suspension.
Voted to suspend.
It's any other comments of anything worthwhile? All right, Anna, if you'll call roll, please.
Bilski.
Yes.
Luder.
Yes.
Harry. Yes. Braverman,
I haven't read it yet, I haven't, can't.
Charnes.
Yes.
Klein.
Yes.
Uber.
All right, moving on to ordinance 2019-31, ordinance amending the annual appropriations for fiscal year ending December 31st, 2019, and declaring an emergency. This is on for first reading. The administration has requested suspension of the rules.
Requesting the suspension of the rules so we can close out the month without a negative fund balance. And this was, I could let Dana explain better, but this was a matter of, we didn't put enough money in this category, and we put too much here, but we charged the expense to the where there was less money, so we have to transfer to make it whole, make it a positive number. How was that for an explanation?
There were 2 changes. One is under the Finance Department, under Other, we increased it about $106,000. That is due to the distribution for REIT income tax. We collected more in revenue, and therefore our fees are higher than what we anticipated for the collections. And the second change had to do with the Law Department. There was a corresponding increase in personal service and a decrease in other, and that was due to the earlier this year when you guys amended the contract for the legal services between what was wages and what was personal service. It was changed from what we originally had budgeted, and we never did the budget appropriation to make that change reflected, and so
It's probably similar, right?
it's a net effect of 0.
Okay.
Numbers in the budget we went over in Finance Committee, you say, balance out here?
This is a 2019 amendment, this is not the 20 budget.
Sorry, yeah, but I mean, they're all in the old budget.
This is for the 2019 budget, this is for the month, yes.
I'll make a motion to take it.
Second.
Thank you. Any other well, call roll on suspension, please, Hannah.
Yes.
Luder?
Yes.
Perry? Yes. Braverman? Yes. Charnes?
Yes.
Klein? Yes. Duber?
Yes, I'll make a motion to pass 2019-31. Is there a second?
Second.
Very, not quick enough.
Sometimes.
Any other discussion on this ordinance? If not, if you would call roll, please.
Bilski?
Yes.
Luder?
Yes.
Perry? Yes. Braverman? Yes. Charnes?
Yes.
Klein?
Yes.
Duber?
Yes. Moving to ordinance 2019-32, an ordinance appointing Blair Melling as the prosecutor of Orange Village and providing compensation for the prosecutor and declaring an emergency. This is on for first reading.
I haven't seen
Hey, Steve? Question? Is there a difference in rate again on this?
Yeah, this is the
Percent?
3% on the salary. Change this year. You'll recall we bumped him up last year. I apologize. We bumped him up to $250 a month this year, so he's $250.
About the hourly?
To bring that position into alignment with other prosecutor positions.
We probably have more cases because we have more activity.
Yep.
And also, he now does this on a day, he doesn't get to piggyback us on the stolen.
That was actually gonna be it does, the amount of cases, I don't think necessarily matters. It's, because there's a special day, but is it the same day and same amount of hours?
No, he's got more stuff. He gets more stuff to work with.
But there's still like one orange day, right?
Understood, but he clearly gets more cases and he gets contacted more frequently due to additional arrests. It doesn't necessarily always get reported.
Only first reading, so we can,
I think I can still ask questions on first reading.
we can reflect on it and get more information.
We're in the middle of a discussion of it.
Yeah.
Boy. So anyways, Chief, as you were saying, sorry,
Definitely this year, it doesn't necessarily mean just in court, because he does a lot more of his work. His telephone calls with the detectives and the bosses, than he does on his bed report day. There's a lot more, there's a lot more for him to do now.
would you be able to, just so we could see what the general rates are for prosecutors and the other, I'm actually guessing this is probably low, if anything, but can you just kind of see what the rates of other prosecutors in the area are? Like similarly situated? What's that? Okay.
They're like,
So we could have that for next meeting.
Nitpicking, but it says a rate of 185, but then it writes down
Catch.
I take time to read these things.
All right, it's just there's a typo in there. Any other comments? Moving to Resolution 2019-12, resolution honoring Alan Charnas for his service as a member of the Orange Village Council. Tonight's Alan's last meeting as councilman for now.
You've explained why that is.
Oh, yes.
He was appointed to expired term for Ron Barron. Under the village charter, the language provides that the person who is appointed by council shall serve until his successor is elected.
Oh, that's right.
So Brent Silver, his election will be confirmed probably the November 26th, I think, is when the Board of Elections certifies the results. Theoretically, Brent can take office immediately after that. I think as a practical matter, he would take office at the
Next
work
meeting,
session.
yeah.
He's supposed to be here next month, doesn't he?
He knows.
He does. And so that's why this is the last month.
I'm sorry.
I'll read the resolution into the record. A resolution honoring Alan Charnas for his service as a member of the Orange Village Council, whereas Alan Charnas ably served Orange Village as a member of Orange Village Council commencing on July 10th, 2019, and whereas prior to his service as a councilman, Alan Charnas had previously served on the Orange Village Charter Review Commission in 2018 and developed a strong sense of how the Orange Village government can and should operate, and whereas as councilman, Alan Charnas was extraordinarily committed to learning about the day-to-day operations of the village for the purpose of most effectively representing his constituents, and whereas Mayor Kathy Mulcahy stated, "I, for one, am very sorry to see him leave and sincerely hope he will stay active and involved with our community," and whereas this council desires to express its sincere gratitude to Alan Charnas for his dedicated service to the village. Now therefore be it resolved by the Council of Orange Village, County of Cuyahoga, and State of Ohio, that the mayor and council on behalf of all of Orange Village, Ohio, hereby express their sincere gratitude to Alan Charnas for his public service and dedication to the village, that the clerk of court of council shall forthwith certify a copy of this resolution and deliver it to Alan Charnas, that this resolution shall take effect and be enforced from and after the earliest period allowed by law. I will make a motion to pass this. Is there a second?
I will second it.
Well, second it.
We'll second it.
Anna, if you would call roll, please.
Bilski?
Yes.
Cluter?
Yes.
Perry? Yes. Braverman? Did I say Charnas?
Yeah, you say it.
Okay, Charnas? Klein?
Yes.
Huber?
Yes. Paper and
Put a nice piece of parchment.
Yes, really, with a big stamp, a red stamp.
I have one of those.
matters which advance the good of the village. All right, moving on to committee reports and comments by council members. Mrs. Perry.
I just wonder if anybody had any questions about the budget before our next finance meeting, first week of December. Because if you do have any kind of questions or concerns or anything you want to go over, we would like to meet a little earlier again. So I've not heard from anybody. Dana, have you heard from anybody? She has not heard about it. Okay. And nobody has anything? Great, then we will meet at our regularly scheduled time next month at 7:30. We'll have 3 months.
7.
7, yes. Okay. And we will be very busy that meeting.
But you know, Lisa, we do have 2 months of treasurer's reports. I don't know if you're going to,
3 months.
because you were out of town the month before. So maybe we need more time.
Dana, yeah, she said we can do it. There's nothing questionable about it.
Any other comments, Ms. Perry? All right, Mr. Charnas.
I meant to bring it up last week, but I don't know if everyone is aware. We talk a lot about the 82 acres, but there is a auction going on for the 13 acres at the Lisa Perry's neighbors, the church. Which, who knows what will happen, but it tells you how probably a little bit desperate they are. So I think it's something that, as a council, you know.
I talked to the listing agent. I saw him out there one day, and I stopped and I talked to him about it. I said, what are you telling people they can do with this? Because, you know,
Pretty interesting auction ad as to what it said they could do with it.
Exactly.
I said, you know, and I told him all they could do. He goes, I don't know what else to say, but
What's it say on there?
$975.
A variety of possible uses for redevelopment.
Okay. I agree.
Misrepresentation.
Single-family, 1.5 acre homes. We can put a church.
A library, a school,
Said that, huh?
Truck garden?
a worship.
Yeah.
Community garden.
He don't care.
They can put a village,
He says, I tell the people that show an interest that it's up to them to go, you know, do their due diligence.
That, you know, we're looking one way, we got to be careful and make sure that other areas of the village get developed in the proper way, and
That's true.
green space, whatever it might be.
Maybe they'll donate it.
What were you looking for in that, looking for some property on the Jeep there? That you run across that?
It was in the Times. It's on the poster now. Now they actually put it up, but it was in here. You can have.
It's on poster? Oh, no, they have a big billboard, yeah. But I saw that was a newspaper, and I didn't know where you saw it.
It was in the
13 acres, you can't do much with that.
With the New York
The thing is,
Times.
it should be noted as zone, what is it?
1 acre, you won. Acre and a half.
And one other thing, which, I'm obviously not going to be serving on council.
Hey, Herb.
One item I would have liked to, if I stayed on, that I saw at another couple of villages, and I talked to Brandon a little about it, that I don't know if we've ever looked at as a village, but the community-wide Wi-Fis, now that we have some businesses, we have some elderly residents who might be on a fixed income. I know I am cutting the cord for cable at my house, anything you can do to do it. And, I'll probably keep a Wi-Fi through Spectrum, but if we had a community-wide Wi-Fi, I know that sometimes those are beneficial.
All right, so I got contacted by a resident, I don't know, a couple of years ago. I saved an email. He said, is anybody looking into this? And I said, I asked him to let me know what to look into. I've talked to Nick DeSico about it a few times, but more recently, the mayor of Woodmere came out. He's trying to initiate that region. Will he have follow-up on it? I don't know, but I can give you what he gave me, what he's trying to do.
Want to talk Hudson, I know, because we had a location there. Hudson has one. I think it's called One Community. And a lot of businesses,
Confirm.
a lot of businesses took advantage of it because I know we did. It was about half the cost of.
It's a very complicated thing, and I don't understand it, so our Nick DeSico does, and at one time Beechwood was putting some in, and we wanted to extend theirs. I don't know the current state of all that, but
Expecting an answer. I was just, something to consider in the future.
I don't know how to move it forward.
Speeds were very good. I mean, we didn't do it until other businesses said it was very good, and, you're not required to do it. It's an option, and.
But it's a utility, and we'd have to invest the money to create the infrastructure.
That I don't know what exactly that.
I mean, that's sort of been one of the hurdles that's kept me from understanding it better.
And, as was just talked about, today is my last council meeting, so my brief political career is probably over at this point. I did learn a lot in a brief time, including that campaigning is extremely hard, not very enjoyable. And what I did learn about myself is I'm not a politician. I know, Kathy, one of our first conversations we had when we got together after I was appointed, I said something about, politicians. She said, be careful, you're a politician now.
And they're all corrupt,
Not one, so that's one thing I definitely learned during this period. What I really learned, though, is that Orange Village currently has a lot of very dedicated and hardworking people that are in their positions that truly care about our community. Until I became involved, I probably could not have named not only all of our elected officials, sorry about that, all of you, but also our department heads or anything like that. But that tells you the kind of people that we really have, that they're not about taking credit, recognition, awards, or anything like that, because they're not out there telling everyone how their council people are on the department head. So it really shows that it's all for them about hard work and dedication. I don't have a lot of thoughts about my time on council, so I'll probably not say very much. Herb and Francis in the next coming months have 60-plus years over there. Share their thoughts and a lot of information on that. In the brief time that I was on council, I do see that we have a staff that has decades of experience and a mayor that truly cares deeply about the current and future of this village, which is great to see. I see the council members that are not very concerned about taking credit, like I said, and not concerned about necessarily making a name for themselves. Exactly the opposite. They choose to legislate, I think, very quietly and effectively. So I hope that continues going forward with Stacy and Pradeep. My only advice I would give to council and future council is based on my own business advice is one of the things that you do is if you have good people, get out of their way and let them do their jobs in most cases. A leader's job, or in this case, council's job, is to provide them guidance,
Resources.
consistency, assistance where that's needed. Don't recommend change just for change's sake. Don't make their jobs harder than they have to be if they're doing a good job. Doesn't mean, I know Herb, you don't like it, doesn't mean that we rubber stamp everything for them, but it doesn't mean just to speak to be heard either. So keep doing the good job that everyone is doing here. And my last really thought is not to rely on the current financial success we have. You know, it's easy to look at the current increase in revenue that we have and think it's going to continue indefinitely. So don't spend today's success on programs and services that may not be sustainable into the future. If fortune should slow down or turn negative, it's very hard to take away something that people get used to. I mean, I talked to someone this last week, I said, one of the best things our village does, I never want it taken away, that not a lot of places, at least where I came from in New York, that did, is picking up the leaf pickup. That is one of the greatest things ever. And the last thing you want to do is provide a new service that you have to take away sometime in the future. So that's my advice when we have new revenues like we do coming in, that, you know, they may not always be there. There might be times that it's a little lighter, and we don't want to take away anything that we have. Exactly.
No more retreats.
I wish the new council members the best of luck in getting up to speed, and Francis and Herb, I wish you a well-deserved retirement from your years of public service.
Thank you. Thank you, Alan, very nice.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you.
Braverman.
Let me make a few comments, but let me start with the NOPEC. You know, we're members of NOPEC, and which is the organization. NOPEC started 20 years ago.
That long.
I think there were 2 or 3 people sitting around a table, one mayor and somebody was trying to say something. Anyhow, it turned into this huge organization, which you've probably all been contacted for, saving us a lot of money in terms of the community's electricity and natural gas bills, and they have an annual meeting, which I said I would attend on the worst weather day of the year. I mean, they gave me an award just for getting there. I'm going to pass it on to the village here. I entered in a triple jump, and I won this award. Anyhow, I'm going to give this information to the organization, to the village.
Were there any takeaways that we need to know?
Well, I mean, it's just that, they're like in the $26 million area themselves. A lot of programming, they increased the programming. I would really urge many of the 3 of you who are streaming and those of you who are in the audience to get on the website and look at what they have to offer, because they are improving their programs on a regular basis, primarily because of the competition in both of these industries. So you can save yourself some money and get some pretty good plans if you're in the market. Now, the triple jump was very competitive. Nevertheless, I was able to, before I talk about the triple jump, let me say that Anna, of course, was honored at this meeting. She was our
Did you know that? They came out here.
Right, when they came out here that one time.
Her picture was there, and every community got to have one representative on the board, and Anna was ours. Now, this has nothing to do with that. Now, this was being presented to the, let me say one more thing about NOPEC that is important. They do give us money every year. I mean, after all is said and done, let's call it the municipal dividend or something like that, we actually have gotten some considerable amounts of money back from NOPEC over the years. So it really is a fine organization, and one of you will be going to their annual meeting next year. I will not be there, but the chicken was good. All right. In any event, in any event, for the triple jump, and because of our membership in NOPEC, we won this plaque, which will be displayed somewhere in the village.
Proudly, with all our other plaques in the police department.
Well, where's Waldo kind of a thing, but if you're interested in it, it'll be hanging somewhere. And the thing that they pointed out to me that I just wanted to pass on to the administration is, if you would like to have more than one plaque, they will give you one. You have 2 places where you can't decide where to hang this bad boy. They will.
Well, maybe we'll get another plaque next year.
Yeah. That's possible too. Anyhow, it was a wonderful event. Once about half of us made it there, and it was my last opportunity. I was dedicated and got there, although I did think about staying home in bed when I saw that snow, but it's okay. Done. Very good, Alan. I hate to see you leave. You know, this seat has not been particularly good one for the village. We just keep around. Somebody's leaving this seat. No, it just happens to be. But that won't happen now. Now we're going to fill it and everything will be fine. And I hope you'll come back, be active on the committees, and then run again when in 2 years.
Or people streaming.
Yeah. Okay, in any event. And your point, you raised the point about, really, two things, in 30 years, two things have always bothered me. Of course, they came up tonight, unfortunately. If you read the agenda, at the end of each, ordinance, you'll see, not all of them, but many of them, you'll see the words, declaring an emergency. Declaring an emergency is something we as a council should only do rarely. And why is that? Because when we declare an emergency, we're taking away the right of our community to come back and attack the ordinance. It's effective, if not immediately, within 30 days. We shouldn't be doing that unless it's necessary. We want our community to come back in and tell us where we've made a mistake. And in the same vein, something I've always railed against, the mayor knows this has always been a sensitive spot for me, I don't think this council should be comfortable making decisions on issues that it hasn't had a chance to deal with in detail. So my little dust up about not getting a copy of the police ordinance, the union contract, because I hadn't seen it and couldn't read it. That is not because I don't love our police. I love our police. Many times I've suggested donuts for the police, for example. I love the police department, and the chief knows that. But I have to say that when you have to deal with a contract that's going to give a substantial raise to really everyone in the village over a period of several years, that's exactly why you're in the room when you're elected official, is to read that and understand it before you do it, for the reasons that this gentleman pointed out. You can't be so liberal with money you have today because you're not sure what's going to happen tomorrow. You have to at least understand what you're doing. And money isn't the only issue, obviously. Nevertheless, those two little points of pique, which now I will eliminate from my speech next month, I won't have to bring them up again because the streamers will be talking about it on every corner in the village. Yeah, the streamers. And other than that, I wish you well, certainly, and I'm looking forward to next month because that will be the beginning of our retirement period. And
Frances looks exactly the same as when she
does. She really does. Yes.
How about you?
You speaking for me?
And slimmer over the years. No, we will tell you more about it next month. And if we do ever get to our book, we're going to let you do the preface. Thank you.
Thank you.
First off, I want to say it's been a pleasure getting to know you, Alan. I'm sorry your time on council is so brief, but I think you have wonderful ideas. You're a very intelligent person, and the village is much better for having you in it and serving the village. And I hope that we find some opportunities to keep you engaged. I had a question. Now that the election is come and gone, do we have any update on the Beechwood situation? I know they've been dealing with a lot of things there.
I got a phone call from one of the council people there to talk about it, and I had called back, I was in New York, so I didn't call back there. Yeah, so it's on their radar screen.
And then for Mr. Zugan, I know the weather's been rough the last week. Any update on how long this Harvard project is expected to take?
Originally scheduled to go to 15th, but my internal mechanism added till Thanksgiving, so we're probably looking toward the end of November.
What was that an answer to?
How long the Harvard project?
They're not going to start the other section this year.
The what?
Are they?
Not, I mean, weather we learned from last year on Lander Road, but tomorrow let me turn out driveway, put them in Friday, and then
And you had mentioned for the last section for Lander, traffic would be maintained in both directions? For the Lander Road?
Harvard to Orangewood.
Harvard
And will that be one of those situations, people have asked me, where you have the temporary traffic lights, like when other parts of Lander were repaired?
We haven't gotten that detail, it certainly will be talked about, but the initial conversation was probably with flaggers.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Klein?
Thank you. Planning Commission didn't meet this past week. We'll be meeting again next week, so I'll have a report in December. First of all, I want to applaud the police and emergency services for responding to an accident on 271 in Harvard yesterday. I think it was yesterday. Today or yesterday? Yesterday. It was yesterday.
Really? There's a big one today.
And they were, as usual, effective in what I could observe. I drove by during that time, and thank you again for that service. Something that, now that it's winter, and something that I guess is sort of an unintended consequence of some of the parking at Pinecrest, we have, I think, an obligation, or should consider an obligation, to our seniors and disabled residents and users of Pinecrest to find a better way to accommodate their needs in parking nearby.
No, they added, I don't know, 13 new handicap spaces. I mean, are you going back to when there was a complaint from somebody?
I heard from another person about it, that they feel that it's like this morning.
They added spaces.
Across from Pinstripes over there is now all handicap, I believe.
There's more along the main drag.
I'm not sure that's altogether being recognized as handicap parking by the users, because of. Okay.
That's a different.
All right. Well, then I'll talk about it at planning and zoning. But I think it's there are some strategies that we might consider for the disabled, handicapped, and seniors, not just those who might have. I realize that, but we have a development agreement with the developer, and maybe there's a discussion that can be had with them relative to that. And as the community, we ought to bring it up. So.
Let me just, one thing that I've been thinking about that goes to this is, that senior transportation that we pay for, I mean, they will take you to shopping. They have these shopping, they'll drive you to the shop.
But not within the shopping center, will they?
Well, they will take you there and drop you, but I mean, wherever store you want to go in. The point is, we could, I haven't thought it through completely, but we could actually have kind of a senior day where the transportation company picks up on a route, picks up whoever one needs to go there, and.
Well, maybe there are lots of ways, and I think it's well advised to consider it through Planning Commission, and we'll take it up there.
On that note,
And I talked to Mike Roberts, who's there watching the operations, and we'll see what he says.
on that note, when you bring that up, maybe talk about adding a few bun in the oven spots too. A little Prego, not because of me.
Well, I think it's those people who need assistance. We want to make the shopping center, the development, as accessible and consumer-friendly as possible, and that may be one way in which they can enhance their customer base. So that's the only reason I bring it up, and we'll talk about it at planning. Again,
Call Adam and talk about it.
talk to Alan and whatever. I again want to thank Alan for his service on Console. He's been a wonderful addition to our dais. I'm sorry to see him depart. He's brought a certain expertise in his area and thoughtfulness that has been extremely valuable on this panel, and look forward to his participation in the community in the future, and hope that he will stay in contact with all of us. And I will pass the baton to Madam.
Thank you, I'm receiving the baton. I'm sorry that Kathy Scheid left, because we received communication from her, and Bob Zugan did send a reply, but I think we need to look at this through the law department, maybe, I'm not sure, but I know that she had called me, and she had expressed her concerns, and I had told her to come to the meeting tonight, and I'm sorry that she couldn't stay to speak.
I had a conversation
Okay.
with her
Okay.
and shared with her that we are supportive of her position and that we will be taking measures to get the contractor to perform under our contract with the contractor. Unfortunately, certain weather conditions that have recently emerged have made that difficult
Okay.
at this point in time.
Thank you. And thank you, Bob, for, I know that you've done your best. I know that. I'm just sorry she wasn't here to hear that, so thank you. Yesterday was Veterans Day, and I would like to commend anybody in the community who served, who gave it, Oh, yeah, I forgot about you, Herb. I forgot you, sir. Yeah, well, thank you very much for giving your service for the freedom of this great nation. And then I too would like to, oh, yes, thank you. Anybody who served, please, thank you. And also, thank you, Alan. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for your kind comments. And you're a very thoughtful, quiet, intelligent man. And I personally felt that you added a lot to this panel. It's nice to have somebody who isn't always hysterical and quiet. That's a nice calming influence. And I do hope you'll stay involved. I'm sort of sad when you say that you're not a politician. I never saw myself as one, really. I mean, you do the best that you can. And I hope that you throw your hat in the ring whenever there's a vacancy or whenever there's another election. Thank you again for what you've done. That's it.
I guess the bad news is that we were not successful at getting the $100,000 NatureWorks grant for the bathroom. I guess the good news is that we budgeted and moved enough money into that account that we can still do it. I have had the sense that that is something that is being wanted by the people that were going to vote on it. And before I sent Bob to start, I told him just recently, start planning it, start getting it ready, because we're going to have to pay for it all.
It is one of the things that you hear most from members of the community.
We have the money, we budgeted for it, but I just, hold me up before we start putting legwork into it, if there's not.
Did they say, well, we didn't get it, or
We did not get it.
why? Did they say, do they ever tell
The
you?
others got it.
Who?
We've not made that call. We did not get any feedback yet, but
We don't have the list of who got it, we just got the notice that we didn't.
And the next grant would it be for another year for that?
Oh, yeah, this is the second time we,
Yeah,
the one that made us wait another year to apply. You don't want me to wait, you don't want to wait another year, do you?
This is something you have to wait to actually do. You couldn't do it and apply after the fact?
No, I think you,
Correct.
Okay.
what are we looking at price-wise, Mayor?
1,000. I know Bob will do it in the most effective way
We were
possible.
planning on 100 for the villages part already.
Well, that was for sure.
Right,
But we budgeted that we wouldn't get it.
correct. No, I understand that.
Apply for less then, and is that
Well, we'd have to wait a whole nother year.
chance
Yeah,
of
the ship, that ship has sailed. The ship has sailed.
potentially, yeah. I believe we lose a little bit of points because the playground was ODA in our grant, so, they just recently gave us $150,000 a couple of years ago.
Right.
We reapplied, we certainly had a large in-kind contribution, with a lot of labor and stuff, done by us, but, that number is where it is because we've got no electric service back in the park. So we have a smaller water line, there's a lot of improvements, and one of the big hurdles is gonna be actually the sewer system. Just a reminder that the town hall here is on a forced main, which runs all the way down to Miles Road. We're talking about putting a structure in the park that has no sewer access whatsoever. So that's part of the logistics of getting it to, one, either extending the force main, or two, getting it to our pumping vaults here, and whether that's gonna be.
Did we rule out holding tanks?
I'm sorry, what's
Did
that?
we rule out holding tanks?
We have not ruled out anything. We will now, we were waiting for, the response from the NatureWorks grant.
We know it's on us.
Forward with due diligence.
A big sign that says, hold it till you get home.
That would save a lot of money.
I'm a fan of that one.
All right.
Yeah. I think it's worth at least looking at, it's worth looking at, I think.
More than look at it, because.
Well, no, but to actually get costs, yeah. and come up with something more significant, I think. I don't know what the rest of council thinks.
I'm just going to tell Bob to go ahead and do the work so we can come back to you to get approval.
Anybody have an objection to us doing that?
This
Okay.
is the number one issue everybody says about our park. It's great, but
This is one of the remaining things from our last survey also.
Yeah, they don't like porta potties.
They can't hold it till they get it.
That's all.
That's all you have? So,
We're more accommodating.
there's obviously some action again in the State House about banning the bag ban, which is
Banning the bag ban?
the plastic bag ban that we passed. It's
And then
super,
ban.
super frustrating that, I don't even know where to begin, but especially when you see that so many other communities are following our lead, and Bexley's passing one, which is why they're getting all rowdy in Columbus. They've done some down in Cincinnati and elsewhere. The county, obviously, the county. So I think it's very discouraging to see a bunch of idiots in Columbus making decisions who basically for no reason, because they're just ponying up to some of their lobbyists, but it's pathetic, and I think all of them are shameful for even discussing this, and that's Ohio, unfortunately, but it's disgusting. So one of the things that I would like to do is to look at, and I don't know how council is, but to look at some other environmental projects at this point. I think we made a good statement with our plastic bag ban, and it's amazing how many people have followed us in the past year. I think that something that I would like to do in the near future is looking at some other things that are similar, whether straws and take-up containers. I think that these are all things that are pretty simple, and a lot of restaurants are already doing it, and they're already complying, and I think putting some of this stuff, into law is something that I think our business owners would be okay with, and our residents would be proud of, and I think that other communities will follow. So if they want to go ahead and take bags, we can do containers. If they want to do containers, we could do straws. If they want to do straws, we'll do trash bags. I mean, whatever. I don't think that we should just give in to their petty ridiculousness. That's my own personal opinion. So that's something that I would like to see, Steve, if we can.
Why don't we wait 1 month, because that bill will either die out or be passed.
Yeah, but this is, I don't care what
If
they.
we pass it, we have to talk about putting ourselves in a position where we have to be adversarial.
Well, that's in regards to the bags.
Yeah.
Right. Now, I don't think straws is something that would be affected,
Wasn't
and
that article?
about the.
Yeah, at
Well-
the bottom, it talked about straws and bags, there was one on it.
I think it's something that we should look at, maybe get an ordinance, going on this. This is kind of the exact same timing, actually, as last year when they were doing all this, and then it didn't end up happening.
Aren't you just amending what you passed last year to add an item?
No, it's adding. We have a new section, so it would be a new ordinance, correct, Steve?
It could be an amendment to it.
Yeah, but it could just amend it by adding the additional item.
But I think the better way, just because if, I don't know how they're going to be piece part.
What are you trying to ban?
Well, maybe what we do instead of just doing this right here is maybe council think about this a little bit, and we discuss this at, the next meeting, and get anybody else's ideas on stuff. I don't want to just throw out stuff on a whim, but I think it's all something that we should discuss in the near future and next week.
Anybody that has like the expertise that
I have a comment, if I'm allowed. I think that we need to take time to study it. I think last time with the plastic bag, I felt like it was just pushed through with no research, no consideration for alternatives and effects of what it really meant. And I'd like to take the time necessary to look at all those aspects.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I just, I would like to start that process
Yep.
and take a look at it. We don't have to have an ordinance.
There may be some support that could be garnered from either the City of Cleveland Office of Sustainability. Matt Gray is a real good resource down there. No, Matt Gray at Sustainable Office, and USGBC is another United States Green Building Council Cleveland chapter that would be another resource that would not only look at that, the straw, but other issues that we might, if we're going to build it, we might as well build it as big a tent as we can instead of just put up a pup tent.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So
We should look at moving in that direction.
But straws, restaurants now are asking you, do you want a straw? And I think it was your boys a few months ago who brought this up. The kids know. The young people are really into this. So we need to push the young people forward with this thought too. Start a committee.
I was at Disney last week, and I apologize for missing the meeting. They only have paper straws there, and it's only upon request. And they biodegrade, it's far healthier, and...
To drink your drink with the paper straw?
I was, however, they do not have the, they do not last as long, but it's something that most people are doing, and we wouldn't be the only ones doing this.
Straws now.
You don't need a straw.
I've got a bamboo straw.
Yeah, I've got one that's permanent.
Give you a little circular brush that goes down.
It's going.
Anna moved, to her credit, I've seen this every meeting, when we started having these discussions last year, she did switch to a metal straw.
See?
So, anyway.
Bacteria growing on it.
So anyways, that's that's something that I'd like to, kind of, and maybe there's a way that we can have somebody come in and, discuss some of that stuff with us. But aside from that, Alan, I do want to thank you for serving on council. I think you've been a benefit to all of us. That was some good advice you had tonight. Even, people who've been on council for a while, I think it's a good refresher, reminder sometimes to hear some stuff like that, and appreciate that. And we'll miss you on council. Stay involved. With that said, I would like to make a motion to adjourn into a quick executive session to discuss pending or prospective litigation with the village law director,
And police chief.
and the service director, and the police chief.
Yes.
Dana, no, I'm just kidding. And I would invite Stacy Vincent to attend as well. And is there a second?
Second?
Thank you. If you'll call roll.
Yes.
Luder?
Yes.
Harry? Haberman?
Charnas? Yes. Klein?
Yes.
Duber?
Yes.